My name is Sarah Mitchell. I am 28 years old. I live in a small apartment in Seattle, Washington. Welcome to my story. As I tell you what happened to me, we will learn and practice English together. Listen carefully and enjoy the story. 3 months ago, I had a good job. I was a graphic designer at a new company. I had many dreams and plans, but one day the company closed. I lost my job. I felt very sad and lost. I didn't know what to do with my life. Every day I woke up late. I looked for new jobs on my computer, but I didn't apply. I didn't answer phone calls from my friends or my mother. I felt very alone. The days were all the same, gray and empty. I was depressed, but I didn't want to tell anyone. One Tuesday night, I stood at my window in the dark. I looked outside at nothing special. Then I saw something. Across the street, there was a light in a kitchen window. An old man was working at a table. He was making something with his hands. I watched him. I don't know why, but I couldn't look away. The man was making bread. His hands moved slowly and carefully. Flour was in the air around him. It looked peaceful. For the first time in weeks, I forgot about my sad thoughts. I just watched the old man make his bread. The next night, I went to my window earlier. At exactly 8 o'clock, the light came on. There he was again, the old man in his white shirt. His hair was gray and thin. He moved like someone who had made bread many, many times before. I held my breath watching him. When I breathed out, fog appeared on my window. By the end of the week, I was waiting for 8 o'clock. It became the most important part of my day. I would wake up late, stay in my apartment all day, and wait. Wait for the light. Wait for the old man and his bread. He was always alone. Nobody else was ever in his kitchen. One night, he took the bread out of the oven. Even from my window, I could imagine the smell. The bread was golden brown. Steam came up from it. The man looked at the bread and smiled. He looked happy, maybe proud. I felt something in my chest, a strange feeling I couldn't explain. I started to think about him every day. Why did he make bread every night? Did he eat it all himself? Was he lonely like me? These questions filled my mind. They pushed away the dark thoughts about myself, about my failures, about my empty life. I didn't like the nights when I closed my curtains before seeing him. Those nights felt wrong. After 2 months, something changed. One night at 8 o'clock, the old man didn't come. I waited at my window. 8:15, 8:30, 9 o'clock. The kitchen stayed dark. I felt worried. This was strange. He always made bread at 8 o'clock. Always. The next night, the kitchen was dark again. And the night after that, I felt terrible. It was like losing a friend, even though we had never met. I didn't even know his name. Without that light, my apartment felt darker, smaller. The sad thoughts came back, stronger than before. On the 4th night, I did something new. I left my apartment. This was the first time in months. I walked across the street. My heart was beating fast. I stood in front of his building. It was old, with a tired-looking lobby. I didn't know which apartment was his. I felt a little foolish. What was I doing here? An old woman came out with grocery bags. I held the door for her. She smiled. "Thank you, dear," she said. I asked her, "Do you know the man who makes bread every night?" Her face became sad. "Oh, Mr. Chen. He lives on the 4th floor. He's in the hospital now. Pneumonia. His daughter took him 3 days ago." I thanked her and walked back home slowly. That night, I stood at my dark window. I looked at his dark window, and I cried. I cried for myself. I cried because I realized something important. I needed that light. I needed to see Mr. Chen making his bread. Without it, I felt lost again. The next morning, something changed in me. I got out of bed before noon. This was the first time in weeks. I took a shower, I made coffee, I opened my laptop and applied for 3 jobs. It was hard, but I did it. That afternoon, I called my mother back. "I'm sorry I didn't answer your calls," I said. "I was having problems, but I'm ready to talk now." Days passed. A week. I still checked the window every night, but it stayed dark. I tried to stay busy. I went for walks. I met a friend for coffee. I started cooking real food instead of just eating cereal. Small things, but they were important steps. 3 weeks later, I came home from a job interview. It was my first interview in months. It didn't go perfectly, but I tried. That was enough. I made dinner and ate at my table. Then I went to the window. I wasn't expecting anything, but the light was on. I couldn't breathe for a moment. There he was, Mr. Chen. He looked thinner and moved more slowly, but he was there, making bread, his hands working the dough. I started crying, but I was also laughing. I was so happy. He wasn't really a stranger to me. He was my companion through the dark time. I watched him work. This time I saw something new. He had a small radio on the counter. He was moving to music I couldn't hear. He was smiling. He looked happy. He was alone, but he didn't look lonely. He looked alive and peaceful. I smiled too. I understood something then. Sometimes we survive because of small things, simple things, like bread that needs to be made every night, like routines, like showing up and doing something even when nobody is watching. That night, I made a decision. I found an old notebook in my kitchen. On the first page, I wrote, "Today I am grateful for the neighbor's light." It was something small, but it was important. My own routine, my own way to pay attention to my life. The next evening at 8 o'clock, I was at my window with a cup of tea. Mr. Chen's light came on at the same time. I watched him for a few minutes, then I went to my notebook and wrote again, this time about myself, about the job I applied for, about my walk, about making my bed that morning. Small things, but they mattered. Weeks became months. I got a job, first part-time, then full-time. I talked to my friends again. I started seeing a therapist. My life became full again. But I never stopped checking the window at 8 o'clock. Mr. Chen was always there. His light reminded me of how everything changed. One spring evening, I saw Mr. Chen in his building lobby. He was getting his mail. My heart jumped. I had never been this close to him. For a moment, I wanted to leave, but I walked forward. "Excuse me," I said, "are you Mr. Chen from the 4th floor?" He looked up. "Yes, that's me." His voice was kind. My face felt hot. "This will sound strange, but I live across the street. I can see your kitchen from my apartment. I've been watching you make bread." His eyes opened wide. I spoke quickly. "Not in a bad way, I promise. I was going through a very dark time last year. Watching you make bread every night helped me. It gave me hope. I wanted to say thank you. You helped save my life." Mr. Chen smiled. His eyes were warm. "That's very kind of you to say." He paused. "My wife died 4 years ago. We made bread together every night. After she died, I couldn't stop. It helps me remember her. Some nights it's the only thing that helps me." His eyes were wet. "So maybe we helped each other." from across the street. I had tears on my face. Maybe that's true. We stood there quietly, two people who shared something special without ever speaking. "Would you like to come up for some bread?" Mr. Chen asked. "It's almost 8 o'clock. Time to start." I couldn't speak, so I just nodded. That night, I learned to make bread in Mr. Chen's warm kitchen. He taught me how to work the dough, how to be patient and let it rise. We talked about loss and survival, about small things that help us live, about how we never know who is watching, who needs us to keep going, to keep turning on the lights. When the bread came out of the oven, it was perfect and golden. I finally understood what I had been seeing from my window all those nights. Not just bread making, it was faith. It was a promise that tomorrow will come, and when it does, there will be something good waiting. I never stopped being grateful for the neighbor's light. Years later, when I tell people about my darkest time, I always talk about the old man across the street who made bread every night. Some people understand immediately, others look confused. They wonder how something so simple could be so important. But I know that sometimes we are saved not by big things, but by small, steady lights that never go out, by routines, by strangers who don't know they are saving us, by the quiet determination to create something good night after night, even when nobody is watching, especially then.